Now with Bhagavan's grace, let us continue where we left off. Let's quickly go through the sutras that we covered. The first 9 sutras. Atha yoganusasanam. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Tada drashtuhu swarupayeva sthanam. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Vrittayaha uchatayaha klishtaha. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra sprutaya. Pratyaksha anumana gamaha pramanani. Viparyayo miti ajnanam rupa pratishtham. Sabda jnana anupati vastu sunyo vikalpaha. Abhava pratyaya alambana vrittihi nidra. We came up to that point, right? Up to number 10. Then smriti, we will start that today. And you're all comfortable so far, right? Any questions you can bring up? Anubhuta vishaya sampramoshaha smritihi. Anubhuta vishaya sampramoshaha smritihi. So what is memory when you really think about it? See, we experience something, from there we think something, some desire comes, some reaction comes, and some reflection or whatever, right? And that comes back to us. It's kind of a second wave, that not only second, it happens several times. It's kind of a secondary thought wave, if you can think of it that way. And what the Rishi says is Anubhuta Vishaya Sampramoshaha Smritihi. What is Anubhuta means? Now, Anubhuta means when you understand something. It doesn't matter whether we understand it perfectly or not. Most of the time, our understanding is imperfect only, right? If not all the time. It's because a perfect understanding comes only when I am one with Bhagavan, when one with the selfless love that is within me, when I have no tinge of selfishness. Then only the understanding is perfect. Okay? Till then, it's all imperfect understandings. Regardless, when an understanding takes place, what happens as a consequence of the understanding, right? A kind of a reaction comes. If I understood something, it doesn't stop there, right? So that wave that keeps on, the ripple that happens, it comes back. The Vishaya, about the various subject matters, right? All the objects that we see, thoughts and material objects and whatever else, right, that we have in this world. Sampramosha. The interesting thing is, Sampramosha means you think about it in abstraction. Something that has happened earlier. It is not that happening right now in front of you. But still, the thought comes back to you. That is in abstraction. So that is the secondary thought wave, as they explain it. That is what smriti is. That is what memory is. Now, this memory thing it's not only in Jagrata Avastha, not only in our waking state, but it also takes place while we are asleep, right? Because based upon our various experiences, the thought process comes even when we are asleep, even though our indriyangal are not active, but the mind is active during the dream state, right? We all know that. So that is why the memory, both in our waking state, so-called Jagrata Avastha, as well as Swapna Avastha, our dream state, the memory waves come back, and that is what the thought waves come back from our previous understandings, experiences, desires, unfulfilled desires, fear, anger, whatever the reactions are into whatever happens. But they all take place in abstraction, sampramoshaha. Not at that time. It happened earlier. Right? And that thought wave comes back. And that is what memory is. So, Chittavritti Nirodha. And why does Chittavritti take place? There are 5 reasons that the Rishi talked about. Pramanam, Viparyayam, Vikalpam, Nidra, Smritihi. We saw all that. Then, so Chittavritti happens because of there are 5 types of Chittavritti. Right? Now we know that. It's clear. The Rishi has spoken. Now the next adjective, the verb that he has given is Nirodha. Nirodha, to eliminate, to dissolve, okay, to pulverize, to kill them, basically, right? Nirodha. That is what he is going to talk about, Nirodha, right? Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tat Nirodha. So what is Nirodham? How do you do that? Next question comes. So, Abhyasam, Vairagyabhyam. Vairagyam and Abhyasam. That, through that, you can achieve complete elimination. Exactly what Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan teaches Arjuna. He uses exactly the same 2 words. When Arjuna asked him, Swami, it is so difficult. This mind, is absolutely uncontrollable. It is very strong, right? And it is very unruly. And how do I control it? He said, no, Abhyasena Vairagyena is what Bhagavan says. Same thing Rishi says here. Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tat Nirodha. What is Abhyasam? Rishi is going to talk about it. Okay, Abhyasam is practice. But what type of practice are we talking of? Right? Then what is Vairagyam? Vairagyam does not mean detachment. Please understand that very clearly. We cannot detach. It's not possible. It's an impossibility to detach. Because we are all given to attach only. That is our natural quality. Natural quality of the mind is that it can only attach to something. Right? So, but when you attach to something, automatically you detach from other things. That is very important to understand. You cannot tell a small child, don't do this. The child will have difficulty understanding. The don't is not in our vocabulary, in our human vocabulary. Right? Same way, detaching is not possible. So that's the wrong way people translate. What Vairagyam simply means, when all the things associated with the world, with the temporary creation, temporary appearances and disappearances, when your mind is no longer attached to them, they detach themselves from you. That is what Vairagyam means. Now to do that, you have to attach to something else. And that attaching to something else is Bhagavan's lotus feet, Bhagavan's Nama, Bhagavan's Rupam, Bhagavan's Katha, right? Whichever way we choose, attach myself to Bhagavan, automatically the other things detach themselves. That attachment, Vairagyam, Viragam. Ragam means attachment. V means special, exclusive. Vishesham, we say, right? Something that is sacred, that is something that is supreme, very special, a unique quality is there. Vishesham, we say that, right? So, Vishesham. So, that's where the Viragam comes from. So, it is a special, exclusive, unique, sacred attachment is called Viragam. So, don't ever fall into all the way people translate. I'm giving you the benefit of my struggles in my life. 40 years I struggled, right? I could never understand Vairagyam because everywhere it is given as detachment. It is not detachment.
I thought other meaning is determination.
No. Determination is different. Determination is dhi. Dhi is determination. Okay, and dhi and dhruti are that is where it comes. Dhi is determination. Dhruti is steadfastness of determination. That means determination all the time. Right? Now, very important to understand what Vairagyam is. That's why sutras are important. Whatever the Rishi says, we must understand it with clarity So from this moment onwards, you march on in life with absolute clear understanding. There should be no confusion. Very important. Doesn't matter what where you read and all that. It will not make sense. Okay? So these are all the Rishi is taking us on the right path. Everything it defines precisely. What is Vikalpam? What is Pramanam? What is Nidra? Everything is defined. Then Abhyasam is going to define. Then Vairagyam is going to define. Okay, so once we understand that, with this only I can do the Nirodham, okay, and ultimately it comes to Manmana Bhava, Madbhakto, Matyaji, Mam Namaskuru. That is what Bhagavan has beautifully given us. But it's been explained in another way. Okay? So, that is Nirodha. With Abhyasam and Vairagyam, when you do that, automatically Nirodham takes place. Nirodham does not mean killing. Killing is something that is present. There is nothing that is present. Nirodham simply means dissolves, disappears, vaporizes, does not ceases to exist. Okay? Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha. Sutra number 12. Sutra number 12, correct? Or 13? Correct. That is, this is 12. I think we just covered 12. Okay, so we go to 13 now. Tatra sthitau yatna abhyasaha. So what is abhyasam? Yatno abhyasaha. Okay. Tatra sthitau yatna abhyasaha. So what is abhyasam? Now, stitham. Stitham means, we all know, firmly established. Firmly established in what? Yatna, effort. Strong, repeated, unshakable, and ever-present, repeated effort. Sthitau, you're established in effort. You don't give up. Even when I fall down and don't succeed, I don't give up. Like the way we learned bicycling, right? We fell down. We didn't give up. The way we learned walking, we fell down, but we didn't give up. Correct? And in everything, we don't think that if you really look at whatever we have achieved, we would not have achieved straight away. We would have definitely fallen short. We would not have been deficient or fallen down or whatever. We didn't give up. Right? So we achieved it. So, Sthitau yatna, firmly established in effort, tatra, that way, along that route. Okay? So we say sarvada, sarvakaleshu, sarvatra harichintanam. Like that, it is always, at all times, in that way, along that path of sthitau yatna is abhyasam. Repeated, not giving up, unshakable effort is what abhyasam is. Nothing more than that. Abhyasam is just a discipline of doing it again and again and again and again. That's all. Nothing more. Okay, clearly understood? Okay. Tatra sthitau yatno bhyasaha. Now, what is vairagyam? Now it's going to come. Okay? I've already briefly explained to you, but precisely explained to you, so it should be very clear when you understand the sutra. Okay? Sa tu dīrghakāla nairantarya satkara sevitaha dridha bhumihi. Sa tu dīrghakāla nairantarya satkara sevitaha dridha bhumihi. Okay, words are clear? Now, what is nairantarya means? That is the new word, right? Nairantarya means uninterrupted, continuous, no interruption of any sort. Dīrghakāla satkara sevitaha. Now, if you read it as Sat Kara Sevitaha, then you are reminded of an item that you eat. So don't go that way. Kara Seva we say, right? So, something to remember. Satkara Sevitaha. Sevitaha means what? Sevitaha is a very important word. It is not doing, our, what Sevikari we do. With our mind and body and Hridayam, offer myself, sacrifice myself to Bhagavan. That is Sevita. So anything that you say Sevikarda, that is what it really means. When you offer yourself, you don't hold anything back. There is nothing that belongs to you. Now here, Satkara Sevitaha. That means you are doing the offering, the submission. Sublimate yourself to Satkaram. Satkaram means good deeds. Okay? Now what is a good deed? You have to understand. Remember I told you, Sutra is things are given, one or two words, phenomenal, whole PhD level meanings are given. So an astute student, the way students were those days, something Bhagavan says, teacher says, immediately they'll grasp. There is no confusion in their mind. But for us, let's understand what is Satkaram, what is Satkarma. You have to think. Next question you have to ask. Satkarma is anything that is done in the company of Bhagavan. And anything that you do arpanam to Bhagavan. Period. Because I don't know what is really good and what is not good, honestly speaking. Right? Satkaram is anything that is done with Trikarana Suddhi. In the mind, words, the thoughts, words and actions are in full alignment with each other, and the thought is pure. When the thought is pure, the word will be pure, the action will be pure. How can the thought be pure? Only in the company of Bhagavan. There should be no confusion about it. So, that means thinking constantly, uninterruptedly of Bhagavan. Sevitaha, for that I sublimate myself in that Satkaram. Okay? How long should I do this? Dirgha Kala. Okay? Not only for a long time, but also with a strong time, in a strong fashion. So, the length of time is immaterial. Really material. It is Bhagavan has given in our scriptures, it is 22 minutes and some few seconds more. That's all. It's not a long time in the scheme of things. Even an earthworm lives longer than that. Even a mayfly lives for 1 day. So 22 minutes is not a long time. But Dirgha Kala here, Dirgham means strong, firm. When uninterrupted if you do this. Now Bhagavan says for 11 seconds you do it. That's all he says today. 11 seconds continuous, uninterrupted. Dirgha Kala, no. It is not a long time. It is a powerful, strong, uninterrupted thinking of Bhagavan. Okay? Dridha Bhumihi. Dridha. Now, Dridham means firmly, with strength. Bhumihi means ground. What does it mean? What is it to do with ground and firm? Firmly grounded in this practice of Dirgha Kala Satkara Sevitaha. Okay? Understand? Saha too. Now uses the word Saha, not that. Saha, he. Who? Bhagavan. Okay? You understand? Okay. Sa tu Dirgha Kala Nairantarya Satkara Sevitaha Dridha Bhumihi. Okay? Understand? That is Vairagyam. Only in the company, keep the company of Bhagavan, right? Nothing else. Vairagyam. Please understand, company of Vairagyam equal to uninterrupted company of Bhagavan. That's all. Okay?
Mr. Krishnaswami, this is Janaki. My book also has Satkara Adhara.
Okay.
Asevitaha nu pottirukku. There's one extra word there.
Adharam.
Adhara.
Yeah, Adharam.
Adhara.
Yeah, Adharam. Adharam means basically support. Basically, and then Adhara Sevitaha it says.
Yes.
That means the Adharam, the support that is given by the good deeds, basically. That's all it means. Which is really nothing but, and what is the support of the company of Bhagavan gives you the support. That's all it means. Supported by, firmly established in Dhrida Bhumihi. So main thing is keep the company of Bhagavan uninterruptedly. That's all. Don't worry about how long and all that. That will take care of itself.
Okay.
But only, okay?
Thank you.
Sutra number 14. Drishtanu Sravika Vishaya Vitrishnasya Vasikara Sragnya Vairagyam. So he's further elaborating on that. See, it's very important. What I basically summarized for you in the beginning, see, there are two things happen. You go into a dark room, turn the light switch on, one action gives two things. The light comes, the darkness instantly at the same time goes away. When I attach myself to Bhagavan, what happens? All the other things leave you. They are no longer attached to you. They may be there. You may be moving in them, but you're not attached to them. You're attached to something else. That is what this thing takes about. It's a beautiful description of what Vairagyam is. Okay? There is no don't in this. There's only one do. Okay? The don't automatically takes care of itself. Like the way the darkness leaves, the things will leave you. Vitrishnasya. Automatically, that's what happens. What happens? Drishtanu, Sravika, Vishaya, Vitrishnasya, Vasikara Sagnya, Vairagyam. Vitrishnasya means, where else have you come across this word recently in our classes? I refer you to second slokam in Bhaja Govindam. Okay? Mood Jahihi Dhanagama Krishnam Kuru Sadbuddhim Manasa Vitrishnam. Okay, now kind of rings a familiar bell. Okay. Vitrishnam, free from desires. How can you be free from desires when desire itself is what is given all to the rise to all this creation and universe and everything else? It's Bhagavan's kamam that is making everything happen. The only solution is desire Bhagavan. That itself, that desire also will vaporize later on. But desire Bhagavan. So that happened. Drishtha. How does desire happen to us in our world? Through our Pancha Indriyangal. We touch the world. We have covered that, right? We did that. The Jnana Indriyangal we covered, right? Remember? Through those five, we touch. We interact with the manifested world. Problem is, when touch it, that's okay. But the mind, touching is a little bit longer than it should be, so mind attaches itself to it. The moment mind attaches, it wants it. That is called acquisitive desire. That's what most of us have. Because its nature is to acquire. Okay? So, how do you give it up? So, you see, drishtha, from whatever you see. Sravika, whatever you hear. Vishaya, all the subject matters. Vitrishnam, free from desires. That means all these things your eyes may see, but there is no desire from what the eye sees because you are attached to something else. Your ears may hear something. Even you may hear a most interesting gossip. You may hear something very laudatory about you. People may praise you. One of the biggest challenges in our Kali Yuga is not the dharma must decline. No, dharma never declines, okay? But this question of mukhasthuti, that is one of the greatest challenges in Kali Yuga. Think about it. Everybody, we are so involved in always praising others, meaningless praise, to be very frank, right? Really meaningless. And that's what we spend, and we get intoxicated with that. Even when you listen to a Bhagavatam story, what do people talk? Sir, this is so good, you spoke so well. Is that what the matter is? Vishaya Asakti, right? We should be talking about the glory of Bhagavan. Right? So that's the greatest challenge in Kali Yuga. Because what happens? That is the Savika Vishaya. So we become attached to it. So all those you will give up. Automatically it will leave you with Krishna. Then what happens? Keeping the company of Bhagavan, the other things have automatically left you. There's no desire for any of those things that you see or hear or whatever. Right? It just happen. You still live. I mean, you will eat. You don't have to satisfy hunger. That's all. But without any desire. It will take place like the way an animal eats. Just hungry. Okay. Feed the machine. Go on. Okay. Take a bath. Talk to somebody. Sweetly. Move on. But there will be no attachment to any of those things. Like the way Ramana Maharishi was, or Paramacharya was. They were still moving in the world. You still took your problems to them. They didn't go and sit on a cave, right? They will interact with you, but absolutely zero attachment because they are attached to Bhagavan all the time. That is what Drishta Vishaya, Drishtanu, Savika Vishaya, Vitrishnasya. Then Vasikara Sabnya. With self-mastery, you have mastered yourself. You have become what Swami calls as a mastermind. Because your mind is now in your control. You're not in the control of your mind.
How do you say that, Mama?
Huh?
How do you pronounce that?
Vasikara Sabnya. Sabnya. Nya means knowledge. Sam means good, sacred. Vasikaram means not attached to, but sublimated to submitted to. That is what it means. Okay? So, sabjna. That is self-mastery. That means you are master of your own self. To put it in English word. Then that is vairagyam. Okay? Do you understand? So, these two sutras define vairagyam. See how beautifully Rishi teaches that. He does not say remove the darkness. He says turn the light switch on. That's what he says. Okay? Sa tu dirghakala nairantarya satkara sevitaha drida bhumihi. First action. Then drishtanu sravika vishaya vitrishnasya vasikara sabnya vairagyam. Do you understand?
Vashikara Sagyana sublimated to...
No. Samjna. Jna is Jna means jnanam, knowledge.
Right.
Samjna means sacred, beneficial, good knowledge. Vasikaram, to be submitted, to sublimated by.
Okay.
There is a difference between Ramyam and Vasikaram. Okay? When Vishwamitra was doing his tapas, and when Urvasi came and to try to dissuade him and distract him, Urvasi is beautiful, Ramyam. But when you get subjected to and enslaved by something that is attracting, that is called Vasikara. Okay? Here, Sabjna means the good knowledge. The mind is thinking of Bhagavan all the time. That is Sabjna. Now, I have become enslaved to that. How beautiful. Sanskritam, you can enjoy this etymologically. It takes you some... The rishis are not fools. They don't use a single word, a single aksharam uselessly. Everything is, as Bhagavan says, Tat Vidhi Pranipatena. We have covered that so many times. You think Vyasa was a fool? He says, why does he say Pranipatena? Why does he say Pariprasnena? He says, Prasnena means to question, to ask. Pariprasnena, you think Vyasa is a fool to use the word Pari? You understand. So, Vasikara Sabjna. That is Vairagyam. Okay? Vairagyam is nothing but a state of mind, where mind is keeping the company of Bhagavan. Manmana bhava, mad bhakto, mad yaji, mam namaskuru. Those are the 4 things it is doing. Nothing else. Okay? It is not thinking like Bhagavan, like the way Kamsa was thinking. Not with hatred, not the way Sisubala was thinking, not with Vesham, but with bhakti, with love. Mind is thinking of Bhagavan. Automatically at that time, Matyaji will take place. Whatever you do, you'll be sacrificing it only because there's nothing to sacrifice. You offer it to him. Sacrifice, you own nothing. That's the way feeling will be. Then you'll be worshipping him. How great Bhagavan is. Can you capture this greatness? Tat Savitur Varenyam. How can you capture this? So that automatically you'll worship. You'll worship only. So that stage. Okay? Then comes the Sakyam. Then comes the Saka, the friend, stage of friend. Then you merge. Okay? Tat Nirodha. Okay, do you understand?
Sure.
Drishtanu Sravika Vishaya Vitrishnasya Vasikara Sajna Vairagyam. Sutra number 16. Tat Param Purusha Kyatehe Guna Vaitrishnyam. See, same word comes again. Vaitrishnyam, Vitrishyam, right? Right? Different grammatically, that's all. But you know the root words now, so you should be able to understand it very clearly the moment you see that. Okay? Tat Param Purusha Kyatehe Guna Vaitrishnyam. What happens to this mind? Why am I attracted to something and this Vesham and Ragam, attraction and repulsion and likes and dislikes and wanting to acquire things, always wanting more and more and more, right? When I don't get it, I become angry. When somebody has it, I become jealous. Why all these things take place? Okay, we saw from the root causes desire. Bhagavan himself has explained. I don't think we should very clearly understand its desire. Now, that is why somebody has got a desire for something and somebody else doesn't. Why? That also Bhagavan describes. This is all a play of gunas. The natural tendency, the tendencies of nature, that is, what are the strings, the puppeteer is pulling the strings. We all know that. We are all puppets. But what are the 3 strings that is pulling us? Only 3 strings. Those are the 3 gunas. Satvika gunam, Rajasika gunam, Tamasika gunam. So those are the gunas that get pulled, to and fro, dynamic all the time, and then we move.
Right.
Suppose if the strings are not there, what happens? Then what happens? Think. That is what he is talking about. Tat Param. When you keep the company of Bhagavan, then see what we just spoke about. Bhagavan, think, Tat Param, Mam Namaskuru. That feeling comes. Not out of a selfish desire of a bartering tendency or writing a contract with Bhagavan and saying, I do this to you, you give this back to me. None of those things. As Prahlada worships Bhagavan. There's nothing. What you think is a barter. This is not the relationship between a master and a servant, he says. A servant takes wages working for Bhagavan. Okay? But a wife cooks in the house. Does she take wage? It's a family. It's one. That's the experience we have with Bhagavan. That's what Prahlada says. So at that time, Tat Param. Bhagavan, what is it? What do I want? Nothing. Not a single devotee you will see in Bhagavatam who will be, or gopis, who was the example of devotion, whose mind was always in Bhagavan, so their heart was completely merged in them. Not a single one of them will say, give me this. No. It is what you want. I want nothing. That is the way all the devotees will be. Okay? And Tat Param, supreme. Purushaha. Kyatehe, knowing that Param Purushaha, what happens? Gunaihi, guna Vaitrishnyam, the freedom from all the gunas. That means there is no more strings. Strings are detached. Urvarukamiva, we say in Mrityunjaya Sutra. They detach themselves from you. The gunas all detach themselves from you. Vaitrishniyam. So there is no attachment, there is nothing, no creation. Attachment is only to that Param Purushaha Kyatehe, knowing him. Okay? There is no desire for anything that is manifested in nature. Okay? When there is no desire for anything that is manifested in nature, what happens to your thought waves? Zero. Nirodha. Right? Remember, the ripple comes only from desire. When there is no desire, there is no ripple. Nirodha. Chitta vritti nirodha. That is how nirodham takes place. Chitta vritti, Bhagavan Rishi has explained. For nirodham, you need abhyasam and vairagyam. What is abhyasam, what is vairagyam is described. You do that uninterruptedly, just practice of keeping the company of Bhagavan, that's all. Putting it in English, keep the company of Bhagavan uninterruptedly. That's all. And firmly. Automatically, then kyatehe tat purusham. Then you get to know purusham. Then gunai vitrishnyam. The desires vanish. Nirodha. Okay?
What does Purusha, Anna, what does Purusha in this context mean?
So could you repeat the question, please?
It says Purusha. What does it mean in this context?
No, Purusha means only one thing. Purusha means one who's present in Puru. Puru means all the embodiments. Whether it is a chair or a carpet or you or me or a pen, it doesn't matter, or a book. Now, all the manifested objects, whether it's a thought or an emotion or a physical object, it doesn't matter. One who is resident, one who resides in them is called a Purusha. Now, in colloquially, we use the word to Purusha means man. Okay? That is one meaning. But the Purusha means basically the Kshetrajna, the indweller in everything, in all the manifested appearances, okay, thoughts, emotions, feelings, and physical objects and all that. Whoever is resident in them, that Purusham, that indweller in all that, Kyatehe, knowing that, Gunai Vitrishnyam, the desire to seek an object leaves you, vanishes. Because when you see only one entity everywhere, okay, let me ask you something. Can you seek love?
Yeah.
When you are very loving to somebody, can you really seek that? Because you already have it. Okay, clear?
Okay, yeah.
Now, number 17. Vitarka Vichara Anandasmita Anugamat Samprajnataha. We talked about Sabnya, right? He explained this further. Before we saw Sabnya, briefly I said self-mastery and the the knowledge of self, right? The good knowledge. He's going to explain that more. Vitarka, Vichara, Anandasmita, Anugamat, Samprajnataha. Now, it is very interesting. There are 4 stages, okay, to understand. Now he is taking you to the next level. Tat Purusha Kyatehe. He is talking about that, okay? That he is explaining that now. What is that? Then you see that how do you do that? Now he explained the tools required. He explained the problem statement, the Chitta Vritti. Then he gave you the 2 tools to solve the problems. Next he says, once the problem is, this is how you solve the problem. At the end of the problem solution, what happened? Tat Param Purusha Kyatehe. He says that. Now what is that? How do you achieve that? How do you do the Purusham, the knowledge of Purusham will come? There are 4 stages. That is what he is describing here. Vitarka, Vichara, Anandasmita, Anugamat. Vitarka. Vitarka. On any item, Bhagavan is present everywhere. Purusham. Param Purusham, he is present, indweller in every object, every thought, bad thought, good thought, anger, everything is present. Suppose if I take that as a given, because Bhagavan himself says, right? Mamatma Sarvabhuta Antaratma, right? We say that. Bhagavan himself has said that. And then that must be the truth. But I don't know that, honestly. But I take it to be the truth because Bhagavan tells me that. Then, that's a starting base. Then I do vitarka. I say reason out. Suppose I become angry. Why do you become angry? What is present in this anger? Right? You start reasoning it out. You look for Bhagavan in everything. That is what a rishi is. A rishi is nothing but we call in English seer. Seer means seer, one who sees, one who is looking for Bhagavan in everything. That attitude of looking for Bhagavan in everything, right? That is what ultimately become a rishi, right? Vitarka, reason it out. First you got to reason. This is temporary. Why am I worried about it? Anger will go away. Immediately. Whatever you want that is not being achieved, he says it's not important. That is, reason has to come. Deliberation has to come. That is the first stage. Okay? That is why buddhi is given. And the only reasoning you have to do, touchstone is this temporary or is this permanent? That's all. Is this temporary or permanent? You yourself will know the answer. That's the reasoning you got to do. Vitarka, Vichara. Then once with that reasoning thing, Vichara, that means you inquire into that. Is this permanent or temporary? What is happening here? Then you go into the examination part of it, the inquiry part of it. Okay? When you do that, when you become good at this, not even a master, when you become good at this, automatically what happens? When somebody humiliates you, what you call unfair, sir, how can it be? Nothing unfair takes place in this world, okay? Regardless of what, because in Bhagavan's vocabulary, there's nothing called unfairness, unfortunately. And another thing that is missing in his vocabulary is the word no. Bhagavan can never say no. He's always yes, 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 yes only. Okay? So, the unfairness, so everything is fair only. According to the algorithm of karma, action and reaction, everything is fair. You go in front of a mirror and show a face. What do you think the mirror is going to give you a beautiful face in return? If you make a face, automatically it's going to make a face back at you. So if I did something wrong, I had to pay the price for it. So that goes on. So when I start, even when somebody humiliates, somebody becomes angry, and something unfair thing takes place, what will your reaction or action be? We should control reactions and only act. That's another important thing. So after doing this, Vitarkam and Vicharam, and I've become good at that, automatically I will not be bothered. As I see, and another thing that happens, when I do the Vitarkam and Vicharam, when I do the enquiry and discrimination and enquiry, that itself will take me in the pathway to the lotus feet. That itself will take me to the path of keeping the company of something that is permanent. So as I become better and better at it, and that means I become more skilled in keeping the company of Bhagavan, automatically Ananda Smita. I will be only smiling in happiness. Smita means to smile. Okay? Anandam, happiness. Okay? The happiness not from the material objects. Because remember, I'm already doing Abhyasam and Vairagyam. Right? It is not from the material object. They're all leaving me slowly. But the Anandam that comes from the company of Bhagavan. Okay? That is the third stage that happens. Then, Samprajnataha. Samprajnataha. Prajna. We saw what prajna is. Right? In our preliminaries, we covered that. Samprajnataha. The knowledge, awareness of one's own self. The entity that is present within me. The devotion of love that is within me. That you become aware of it. That's the next stage. Fourth stage, Anugamate. All these come in these stages, one after the other. Okay? Vitarka, Vichara, Anandasmita, Anugamate, Samprajnataha. Remember, this is a Yoga Sutra. Yoga means finally becoming one, leaving the feeling of separation. Right? So, he is given some preliminaries and explaining now. Moving on to number 18. Now 18 is, we take it up at the next class, but I'll tell you, I don't want to confuse you on that. So far I think this clarity is there. Now the sage is taking us to a realm, to a universe of what happens. That is talking from personal experience. Now, we do not have that experience. So how do we understand it? Right? That is going to be not a challenge, because Bhagavan will take care of that. Only with His grace we are even doing the study. So He will take care. But we must make sure we have the right attitude to receive that message. The message itself will bring in the necessary clarity for us individually at the stage each one of us is. Okay? But my thing is, I must have the right attitude of Vinayam. I don't understand. Questions are perfectly okay. The questions asked the right way. Because now we are entering the realm of what happens. What is now, he says, Samprajnataha. Sounds good. Becoming aware of oneself. But what is that? Okay, that is what he is talking about. Next one. Number 17 that we covered, 17 is the one we finished, right? 17 we covered. We are able to relate to it, the 4 stages, because there the unsaid thing is that the concentration that we have is on an object. right? It could be a thought, it could be a feeling, it could be a physical object. Then it becomes very clear. Discrimination, is it temporary, permanent? Okay, then you inquire into that. And then you start keeping the company of Bhagavan through that. And then achieving self-mastery. That becomes clear. Suppose you concentrate on something that is not an object, the so-called formless thing, that is what 18 is talking about. Okay? So there are two types of concentration. As Arjuna asked, should I worship the form or should I worship the formless? Okay? And Bhagavan's answer is in Bhagavad Gita is very simple. Okay? You don't have to break your head on this. Very simple. He says, what is easy? Both are okay, he says. Both will give you exactly the same benefit. Okay? But, which is easier for you? You are made in such a way you can concentrate only on a form. So, follow the form. By formless also is okay. Suppose I say, concentrate only on love, on prema, and do your dhyanam. It's difficult. But if I say, concentrate or dhyanam, do the dhyanam on lotus feet, or do the dhyanam or nama japam, Rama nama japam, or something that you're able to do, an object arrived. That will take you to the formless. This is the beauty. So, here, the Rishi is going to now talk about concentration on the consciousness that has no object. We are conscious of an object. So, we focus on that and do that. That is Sutra 17. Suppose if I focus on the consciousness, the awareness that I am, that is what 18 is. Okay? That we will take up with Bhagavan's grace in next class. Okay? Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om.